This is everything you want to know about the Savage Stance. This one is the black manual safety night sights version. I'm going to basically let you know everything there is to know about it. So, we're going to start by unboxing this guy. This one's brand new and hasn't been opened yet. I'm going to start out by opening it up. Comes in a nice hard case. It's padded. We have, first things first, I've got your safety manual, your general owner's manual for the gun. Looks like you get a sweet decal, your Savage Arms Rifle Association coupon and membership for join the NRA. We get a you just got hooked up 50% off promo code for Viridian Weapon Technologies. So you get a 50% off there. We get a safety lock. Comes with some earplugs. And it looks like it's got a different backing plate. Inside, I've got a magazine, the serial decal. On the tag, a warning: this pistol can be fired with the magazine removed. That's good to know. I'm glad they put that on there. And more safety information about reading your manual. But I think that's all that we have in the case. Very nice, solid case. Good for safekeeping. I'm a big fan of the hard cases. So this is everything that came in the box. Quite a bit of value. So I'm going to start setting some of this aside and let's go into details about this gun. All right. So, first impressions. I'm going to go ahead and remove the safety pin. My first impressions of this gun. The grip is the first thing that comes to mind. It is very, very sticky to your hand. It feels very light. Polymer frame. Pretty cool the way it's cut on the slide where you can see the barrel. I'm a big fan of that. Maybe not so great for a daily carry, but because the dirt and dust can get in there. But it does have some great heat disposition. So I would say that this could probably throw a lot of rounds at the range. Kind of a universal gun. I think this would also be a great daily carry. Plenty narrow. It looks like it does have an extended magazine in it. Let's see what it's like with the daily carry magazine. Still pretty good firm. I lost the position for my pinky, but if you were carrying it, I think that would definitely be suitable. I feel like this is a pretty universal gun. It just seems like a really nice, solid piece. It does have safety that can be controlled from both sides. You know, the sights, they seem to be pretty bold, very visible, very obvious. So that seems very suitable. You know, I think this would be a pretty nice daily carry if you were not going to own a whole lot of guns or buying your first gun. I'm not saying this is a first-timer's gun, but it just seems very universal. You could really use this as a shooter or carry, home defense. You know, it just seems really nice and universal. I don't say that about a lot of guns being both ways. I'm not sure what I would compare it to, but you know, switching it over to your extended magazine, you know, taking it to the range, this would be a really nice range gun. Really big fan of this, really, especially for the price point. It seems like you get quite a bit of quality here. Let's talk about that price point. You know, after some of my first impressions here. The MSRP on this gun is $548. It is currently available for sale on the White Lab Tactical website for $359.99. I'm going to say that's an awful lot of gun for the $360 price point. I don't say that a lot either. That there are a lot of value guns, and this one's a nice middle range. It's not one of your higher ends. It's not one of your bottom ends. You know, no more than the price tag. I think I'd be comfortable if I had it on me and it got scuffed up and really worked. I wouldn't mind shooting this one a lot. Don't think it's going to affect the value. But so far, my first impressions, I actually really like this. I don't personally carry Savage, but now after holding this one, I'm really considering this one as an option. Looks like it's got a nice stainless barrel. It all feels very firm in the hand, easy to work. The weight is still really nice. I think I already mentioned that, but it feels slightly top heavy, but if it was being carried, I think it would be offset the balance well. I also think that having a loaded clip would probably make that balance feel a lot better. So as light as it is, for what it is, I would say I'm pretty impressed with it. I do like the angle of the grip. It feels really clean, nice, easy to handle, and that grip, it really sticks. It's not aggressive where it's still smooth, but once you get a hold of it and the finger holes, it's got some indentations for your fingers to go on both sides. They are lined up just right. It feels great. I really like this one. So what I'm going to do here is let's go down the spec sheet on this a little bit. Tell us more about the Savage Stance 9mm. This one is obviously in black. It is manual. It is safety sights. It is a semi-automatic right side ejection port. It is considered a micro compact. It does, with the extended magazine, feel more like a regular compact. So again, I really do feel like this might be a decent range gun. Be a lot of fun to take out and use. The barrel color is natural. It does have a stainless barrel. The caliber is 9x19, so it is just your standard 9mm. The magazine quantity, it comes with two. One is 7-shot, and your extended, I believe, is a 10-shot. So that would be, with one in the chamber, 8 rounds, or 11 with the extended magazine in it. It is an ambidextrous, safety on both sides, your release on both sides, and it's equally balanced on both sides. It actually feels really great. I'm going to start recommending this one to some of my left-handers. Let's see here. The overall length is 6.2 inches. The overall height is 4.6 inches. The rate of twist is 1 inch, so I'm assuming your width. The slide material is steel. and it's finished in a black nitride. The ambidextrous manual thumb safety, as noted here. Really easy to use. It's just right in the right location. Feel really good about that. The grip is a glass-filled nylon, so I actually thought that this was a polymer, but that would explain the way it feels. So the grip color is black. The trigger action is a single action trigger, and it is a striker fired. The front sight is a TruGlo, the tritium, and the rear is TruGlo tritium also. So I do want to point out, these are not night sights, and this is very natural in the lighting. The sights are actually really present. And I really like how wide it is on the U. It lines up really neat. The sight radius is 4.75. The weight is 1.375. So it does weigh just a crack over a pound. Pretty well perfect for an everyday carry. That's really ideal. It's actually a lot of gun for its weight. So I'm way more impressed with this than I thought I would be. And let's see. The barrel length is 3.2 inches. So we'll get a look at that when I go to do the disassembly. I believe my initial impression of this gun, way more impressed with it than I actually thought I would be. And I really think I will start recommending this more now that I know, or now that I've held it in my hand and felt it. This is a really nice firearm for that price point. So now I think it's time for me to move on to the next step. We're going to do disassembly of this firearm. This is going to be the disassembly of the Savage Stance 9mm. First step will be to read your safety manual that comes with the gun. Nobody knows more about these guns than the manufacturers that produced them. Always read your safety manual, always read your instruction guide. It's best to know before you do. So I'm going to physically show you how to do it. Here's the first step, is we're going to remove the magazine by releasing with the thumb button here. I'm going to set that aside. Now we slide the slide all the way back, and the release pin gets twisted down to the downward position, and I'll be able to slide this with a little bit of trigger pull to get it released initially, and the slide and frame are separated. We'll set the frame aside. Now inside the slide you'll have your guide pin and return spring. It looks that this is capped, so it shouldn't come apart, but I always caution when you go to release this, not to prevent shooting it across the room, you'll want to hold on to it as you bring it up. So I'm going to push in on that spring just slightly and lift up off of there. So this spring is not capped. So the spring will release. Make sure you don't shoot that across the room, and make sure that that's still in there when you go to put it back together. So that is the return spring. To release the barrel and remove it, we're going to push up on the barrel and slide it straight out of its hole. So now we have the slide frame, everything's disassembled. we're able to do some lubricating, cleaning, whatever really needs to be done. This is your opportunity to look through the barrel without pointing it in your face, but you'll be able to see down the rifle to barrel and know just how dirty it is. Even though this one is brand new, I guess they fired a few test shots out of it before it got sold. So it could use a little cleaning before you go to shoot it your first time. Even though it is already pre-lubricated, I always like to lubricate and clean them up before I take them out to the range the first time. Your reassembly, as usual, it's always going to be the last part you took out goes back in first, and we go back the opposite direction. So we'll insert the barrel into the hole in the slide there, and now it's laying in position so it doesn't move. Your guide pin and spring, return spring, will go spring first into the front of the slide, and you'll push it down and it'll just set right on the ledge, and you're ready to make this back to the frame. So be ready to hold your frame firmly. You'll have 2 tracks that you'll need to line it up with, and just slide it on back into the position. All the way back, and your release pin needs to be pointed back up even with the gun. And this gun is ready to go again. We can put the magazine back in, and this gun is reassembled and ready to be used. Speaking of assembly and being ready to use, I'm going to go ahead and show how to load and arm this weapon, and then I'll show you how to disarm. This is a 9mm. I'm going to be putting in the 9mm 115 grain full metal jacket. You'll hold the magazine firmly in your hand, and you'll push down and slide back. This is a 7-round clip, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, on 6, the spring gets very firm. This is a brand new gun, so I'm sure it'll loosen up over time. And 7 might be very difficult to get in there. I had to do quite a bit of force, but I was able to get 7 rounds into the magazine. You'll push the clip back into the base of the gun until you feel it click, and it's locked in there good and solid. Although it's 7 rounds in the magazine, you could have one in the chamber. I don't recommend leaving one in the chamber unless you're ready to fire. This does have a safety, so this one is an everyday carry. If you're going to do that, would be a good gun to be able to do that with. But to chamber the gun, you will slide it straight back and release. And this one here was a little stiff, but I got it in. Again, brand new gun, probably needs to be worked a little bit. And in order to fire, you'll use your thumb to release the safety. And this gun is ready to fire. Pull the trigger and you'll be able to semi-automatic by continuously pulling the trigger to unload it. Now, in order to disarm this weapon, you will release the clip. The magazine will drop with the thumb release button. You'll want to clear the chamber, hold it parallel to the floor, and slide it back, and it will eject the shell that was in it. You can also get a chance to look in and double check to make sure that the gun has been cleared for sure. And this gun is now disarmed. Always leave your safety on, read your manuals, be safe out there.